Okay, so I already had something planned in the works, but you're going to get this for the time being. Because this is honestly one of the most idiotic and downright deplorable things that a human being can possibly do. All over a joke made on one website. I wish I was joking here. Okay, so for context, I suggest watching Deplorable Double Feature to get a sense of what's going on. But as a TLDR, Eden is a person in the Has Been Hotel community with a history of harassment and manipulation. For that, I suggest going to this video for context. Now, this all came to a head back in August. Now, in August, a person named Wist was in contact with Eden before cutting him off. Now, there is a whole log dump, which I will leave below, compiled by Spoken. But to summarize, Eden had broken Wist down and convinced him that the relationship he had with his roommate was unhealthy, despite it being consensual. Now, along with this, Eden had claimed to have had DID and had used several quote-unquote alters to continue to bully and manipulate Wist, using some of them to call him a rope bunny along with trying to guilt trip him on a few occasions, usually whenever Wist would show any sign of resistance. And eventually, after Eden would throw a fit, trying to get Wist to call him, Wist would eventually start cutting him off. And due to this, Eden decides that the next best thing to do is contact Wist's family and friends. Some of these people were people that Wist hadn't contacted in years, and his family wasn't exactly welcoming to anyone of the homosexual variety. And if you're skeptical of Eden doing this, he's threatened to do so even when Wist told him that he'd off himself if his parents were ever called. I'd like to make something clear to you all. Despite how stupid Eden can be, he is still self-aware enough to know what he is doing. He knew what he was doing to Wist, and he knew what would happen if he called Wist's family, and yet he did it anyway, because he didn't like the fact that his power over someone was slipping away. And overall, that's where Deplorable Double Feature left off. Eden would later rename himself to Kirby at some point, and Wist would start to move on with his life. Now, this is where our second, or I guess third protagonist, I should say, comes into the play. And this is Allie, Wist's partner. Now, I would like to make something very clear. I do not follow neither Wist's nor Allie's not safe for work accounts, indicated by the white follow button that you see right here. I do, however, follow Wist's main, which has no not safe for work content at all due to it moving it over to a separate account. Now, before we get into the actual drama, I'd also like to introduce our secondary antagonist, a user named Rue Skeptical, or Skeptical for short, who we will get into later, but I'll just let you know that it's equally as bad as Eden is, just in slightly different ways. Now, for this part of the story, we have to turn our attention to a site called Curious Cat. This site is basically a Q&A forum where people can submit questions which can then be answered by the user receiving them. Now, one aspect of Curious Cat is the ability to send questions anonymously, which will be the focus for the segment because someone decided it would be a good idea to go onto Allie's and Wist's Curious Cats to try and harass them. Now, those already aware of this specific situation will also know that people like Mirage Potato and myself have basically roasted this idiot to ash at this point, and it was really funny. And this, however, is where things get really fucking stupid because the Anon took notice of me and specifically flaming him and decided to start attacking Allie because I made a decision to defend her. But before we get to that, let's read off this little gem sent to Allie's CC about 1 or 2 weeks ago. Get therapy for the love of God. You're remarking about the possibility of Kirby talking to you, and you're remarking how fun it is to speak horrific things about him and wish him suffering as if it's a game. That's honestly disturbed mentally and not in an over-exaggerated manner. If you said the shit you did to someone right now, in person, I can honestly guarantee that it fucking punched the shit out of you. You're sitting and mocking someone for rightfully, if he ever sees these, being disturbed by the shit you people are going on about, when the majority of people around him have basically asked you to leave him alone and drop it. The fact that you are also happily basking in the fact that you're dishing out false allegations about him perving on someone's altar, which, yeah, if you read that at first glance, anyone on the outside would see it as you saying he was sexual with them, then going tee-hee with gifts of a known sociopath in media when asked for evidence and laughing about it. This is clinically disturbing behavior. Allie decided to respond with this whole response, which I will not bother reading off here because it is really fucking long, but you can check it with the laws in the description, or read it on screen. And here is where little old me comes in. First of all, you're the one who needs therapy if you're this butthurt about someone on Curious Cat hurting your feelings. Secondly, it's a very high possibility because Kirby can't keep his mouth shut, even if his life depended on it. It's actually pretty entertaining to poke fun at how he's still coping and seething. And thirdly, it is funny to say hurtful shit to him because he's earned it. Calling him a piss gremlin and saying how he's a degenerate who needs to touch grass and never breed is truly a wonderful experience. Second paragraph. Oh, look out, fellas, we're dealing with a real badass here. He must have 3 katanas stashed in a rack in his mother's basement. If you're going by disturbed, you mean butthurt, then yes. We are mocking him, which is hilarious, and we will continue to do so because he's a piece of shit whose feelings don't deserve to be coddled. Not to mention the fact that everyone around him only asks us to drop it simply because they're a bunch of white knights that don't know what the fuck they're actually defending him from. I wouldn't know. And third paragraph. Don't know, man. Considering how he threw a fit because some character that someone is acting like didn't want to talk to him, it's pretty damn hard to call the allegations false. There's also accusations of dead naming, which, of course there is, because this is Whedon we're talking about. Number 1, being LGBT does not preclude you to calling out other LGBT members out on their bullshit. And number 2, maybe don't argue that when your friend uses quote-unquote dead name when he copyright struck me back in August. Yeah, it's not very cash money, is it now? And, well, here is where the accusations began to pile up. You're not only unreasonable, but way to rely on a literal child to defend your arguments. You're stuck on the idea any soul who defends Kirby and shows concern for him is like a fucking weirdo, so you're not gonna get anything else from me. Yeah, press X to doubt on that one. I'm pretty sure that this Anon totally went to touch grass, guys. Totally. The rest of this video does not exist in the slightest. This later escalated when the Anon got their panties in a bunch over Allie making a joke, which was followed by me doubling down. Well, this certainly won't escalate in the slightest later on. Now, the Anon proceeded to go onto Whisk's Curious Cat because Allie had enough and turned off the ability to ask anonymously. And well, yeah, it definitely got worse. So you argue a valid point by then making a comment about how rather misogynistically I might add bravo, it means I don't have a sexual partner. Also, the fact that you're again literally using a minor to make your points for you says so much. If you really wanted to, I could absolutely— oh hell no! I am not reading the rest of that. This actually hurts to look at. For context though, the part at the beginning was in response to a response that I left to another question by the Anon. Honestly, if you're gonna be harassing West and Allie, maybe go outside and get some bitches yourself before you start talking shit. Not only that, if you're mad that someone isn't gonna post the Curious Cat you sent after the person you were harassing turned off Anons, that's more of a you problem. You're the harasser, you're the one in the wrong. Someone not wanting to lose energy dealing with your bullshit isn't an admission of defeat. It's an indicator that you're a spineless, butthurt little bitch who dodged a coat hanger for 9 months and makes it everyone's problem. Yes, this Anon is so tilted that a 16-year-old making a joke about them needing to go get some bitches offended them to the point where they called it misogynistic. This definitely does not seem familiar. The fact that when you're presented with actual facts you do nothing but sit there and sling insults as a first instinct proves you got jack shit on him. or maybe using a minor or your fucking partner to make you feel right. Shows how well at arguing you actually are. Maybe when you grow a brain cell or two, you can come back. You're not even speaking on a clinical term about dissociative identity disorder, and the fact that you're even asking for proof is really ableist. How the hell is it ableist to ask for evidence? Especially considering the fact that this jackass has used DID as an excuse in the past. Is it really that unreasonable to ask for evidence when you put this situation up against that context? Now, of course, we thought it'd end there, but if you remember this specific response left on Allie's Curious Cat, well, that's where things get even more deplorable. Now, around 2 weeks ago, Whedon decided to finally start making some moves. And what were they? Was it self-reflection? Touching grass? Actually cleaning up his pigsty of a room instead of being such a lazy bitch? Oh, it was just accusing people of exploiting minors. How silly of me. Alright, I ain't gonna get into the meat and potatoes because honestly I hate drama, but to me this is kinda exploiting a child and I'm not having it. Someone just sent me this, take this and do what you will. Allie is using a literal fucking minor for her sick twisted game of saying honestly fucking gross shit about me, and it's always sexually based. I don't care how much you dislike someone, openly involving someone who's a minor and allowing them to see your sexually perverted shit is fucking gross. I don't know who the fuck you think you are in this fandom, but I'm fucking disgusted. You're using a literal minor over a hate boner for me, and by the way, saying some really sexually creepy shit about me for days. I can ignore a lot, but involving a child ain't it, chief. Hey, Earth to retard. Not only do I not see any not safe for work content from Allie's account, because again I don't follow it, but I also don't see what's supposed to be sexually charged about those comments. A joke is not a sexually charged comment. It is a joke. Helen Keller could spot the difference a mile away. And well, here is a comment that Eden left, pretending to be concerned for my safety. So now we're accusing them of being openly NSFW. Yeah, totally. Wist's account is safe for work, and I don't look at Allie's Twitter. I can't believe I have to explain that again to a grown man. You're well aware of this fact, so why are you lying? Not to mention the fact that you really should not pretend to be concerned for my safety given my history with you. Speaking of which, allow me to run off a few pointers here. Throwing me under the bus after I risked my mental well-being defending his dumbass. Attempted manipulation and trauma dumping. Copyright striking a literal child. And right now, false accusations. Yeah, that's totally worthy of you pretending to be concerned for me. Anyways, this whole shit show prompted responses from Wist and Allie, so I'll read those off right now. TLDR, Kirby, formerly known as Eden Darling Lamb, is spreading misinformation. Welp, the quiet was fun while it lasted. Eden is making posts falsely accusing Allie and I of exploiting minors and being sexual around them. Please note that I have a separate NSFW account that minors aren't allowed to follow, and Kirby previously exploited the minor in question. Notice how he leaves that tidbit out. For context, the minor has been responding to the anonymous Curious Cats we've been receiving in our defense because he's our friend. He's not an attack dog or a shield, he is a person with free will and opinions. Thank you, Kirby, for either admitting that you are the anon who has been harassing us, or that you are complicit in your friends harassing us. And well, here's Allie's whole response. Let's begin. You want to fight? You have one. I have nothing to hide with this. You, however, do apparently. I did not even bother with you. I had forgotten you existed, to be honest. A few days ago, about a week and a half ago I gotta say, I decided to open Curious Cat. Normally I do talk to my audience in messages or out of character using the emote I do. First message I received from Eden's crew was this. Off yourself, you stupid slut. Spare the fandom of your slutty ways. People only want you because you RP as a popular character. Cut yourself and die. Wow, that's
That's certainly cash money, guys. Certainly. Due to this, I had to delete the Curious Cat because it had triggered something for me. Well, it's no one's business, I was an Alistair simp. Because of events, I had stopped loving Alistair as much as I used to. This was the second attack. He targeted my dear man and tried to get me upset about this, which didn't work. I know, which I don't like admitting it, Radio is a neon Alistair with long hair. That's all there is to the design. It was also my first time making an OC. Mate is the next thing we were attacked on. He kept coming at me with this slut talk. He got really angry when it came to Whist, so I suspected it was Eden. And the fact that he used Zoophile, that is what Eden is known for using in his other tweets. This is where it doesn't make sense. Whist doesn't care or love me because I make carbon copies of original characters. It doesn't make sense, but whatever. Obviously, people got involved because it started to get bad. This Anon, which Eden admitted he knew about the harassment, came at me with whatever he thought could bother me. It still didn't. This is where the sexual stuff started to come in. This confirmed it for me considering the writing is the exact same, and the direct messages are the same. This was sent to a friend of mine, will remain unnamed. The Anon brought the sexual stuff in. And Kirby, don't flatter yourself. That proved the Anon who attacked me with a sword of sexual insults to try and get under my skin was you, since you clearly admitted it. You are disgusting. Did my insults really get under your skin to where you brought it to Twitter? I suspect this because I read the comments and the typing patterns. There were two Anons all along with this. While the pattern was the same, it was also different with the insults. A few days of this had gone by. I had managed to trick one of the Anons by forcing him to tell me who he is by going through what Kirby normally gets angry over. I never name-dropped anyone, not even the victims of the debacle that's been occurring, and was very careful. Yeah, bro. Ali and Whist are totally the bad guys. Trust me, bro. Definitely. 100%. No doubt there. Now, this is where Skep comes into the picture. Now, Skep also jumped on the bandwagon of false accusations, and well, let's just say it didn't exactly stop people from ripping into them too. Now, the funny thing about the internet is that everyone leaves a paper trail of something. And in Skep's case, that something happens to be a fetish list that happened to be posted by Skep back in July. And well, yeah, judging by the tweet, this wouldn't exactly be, really... This definitely won't be that bad at all, right, guys? But it only gets worse when you read the actual list. Why am I not surprised? Real A-class winners you're friends with there, Eden. Truly top-tier individuals. I wonder why people hate you so much. And, well, you wanna know what's even worse? Eden himself supporting WallyCon. An artist, who I will leave unnamed, would share screenshots of a conversation they had with Eden, and well, they don't exactly make this case any better. To put it simply, Eden had tried to justify Skep's love for WallyCon by saying that it only does it as a form of coping with past trauma. Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but that sounds like a counterproductive solution no therapist would suggest. Why cope with trauma by exposing yourself to the same thing that traumatized them? If anything, that's going to make it worse. But oh no, it does get worse, because then this also got leaked. Yeah, what was that about being concerned for my safety, Eden? And of course, it has to get even worse. Now, I decided to go ahead and hop onto Skep's Curious Cat for a little bit of confrontation, and here's what I had to say. You know, it's funny how throughout all of this, you and Eden never thought to go to me directly. You know, the kids supposedly being groomed by Ali and Whist. Almost as if you actually don't care about my safety, and only want to get back at Whist by accusing him and his partner of doing horrendous shit. You have the means to reach any of us directly, and yet never choose to, because you know you're wrong. But if you want to prove this assumption wrong, my Discord's always open. And let me mention how you have no right to accuse them of heinous things with no evidence, while there's evidence of you two defending works that blatantly exploit more children than Whist and Ali ever have. You and that fucking nutcase need to grow the fuck up. And well, here's what Skep responded with. First and foremost, my page and my content are 18 plus. You should not be here, and I will not speak to you after this either. In fact, I will be blocking you. I am beyond uncomfortable with children on my page. Yeah, good job dodging the actual issue here. It's a wonder why people don't respect you at this point. First of all, being an 18 plus account does not preclude you from criticism, whether it be from minors or adults. And second of all, I really do not care. I have a right to defend myself and my friends as I see fit, jackass. Second, I never said anyone was grooming anybody. I said that a lot of this stuff reminds me of the person who groomed me, and that should alarm people. Yeah. No, that's a lie. You definitely were saying that Wist and Owie were grooming me. When you make comparisons to a groomer, that kinda insinuates that you're calling someone a groomer. I don't know, it just seems a little weird. And thirdly, you're young. Right now you feel special and important because adults are fighting over you and people are talking about you. You think you want the attention, you don't. Okay. Do not talk to me like I'm a toddler. I am 16, not 6. Second of all, I thought you didn't owe minors any ounce of safety, so either you're a hypocrite, or you're only doing this because you think I'm automatically going to trust a lolicon-defending paraphile freak of nature who associates with a piss gremlin. I'm gonna go with the latter on this one. And well, thirdly, you guys are the only ones fighting over me. You know, you guys are the ones who started this bullshit, so I don't know why the hell you're trying to point the finger at us. Yeah, it's safe to say that this isn't exactly cash money. Eden, you lied. You know that you lied. Trying to claim the Wist bad card isn't going to keep being a viable solution. You've already pissed people off and have people talking about the actions of both you and that idiot that you associate with. And worst of all, you did it while having to drag a child into your mess. A child who has really made it clear that they don't like you and don't want your help. And you know the fucked up part? There was a concerning lack of consulting the minor in question. Yeah, you'd think that if a kid was actually in danger, like you're claiming, you'd actually go to the kid in question, not hang around on Twitter complaining about how someone is the bad guy. Oh, but you're more than happy to prove me wrong, of course. You know, hop on Discord and go for a round 2, Eden. I'll be sure to bring the lighter fluid.